All right, so here we are, as promised, because we're in that season. We should start seeing Spanish mackerel start showing up here on the Jersey Shore. Um, Hearing about some bonita. Um, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't even had a great uh, surf albie run here in the fall, but we've had them in and out, and we've had a good run of Spanish the past couple summers, and bonita. The bonita haven't been too big, but uh, they've been here. So surf speedsters. So we're gonna go over some stuff here. So now I'm going to talk mainly about Spanish mackerel because that's one of the most abundant fish here on the Jersey Shore for us to catch. So they usually move quickly in pods. They like current. So if you can get down at the end of one of those inlets, jetties, and you know how to fish that area, on that strong outgoing, from here on out, you'll probably be able to get Spanish there pretty regularly if you know how to fish that area. Either with those jigs, slow pitch jigs. I don't use them, but I seen guys use them and catch Spanish with them. Know how to use them. Know how to not tangle other guys with them when they're fishing them from the jetty and the inlets. Um, I don't recommend it if you don't know what you're doing because you're going to tangle everybody. They're light jigs. Um, I think they're like I said, I've never used them. But the tactic that the people who did use them that I seen is they were floating them out there in the current. And if you can't do that, and you're fishing around somebody like me, and you keep tangling me and the guy next to me, I'm just gonna start cutting your line every time. So if you don't know how to do it, you can be very annoying trying to do this at the jetty. I would recommend the way I'm about to tell you how to fish off the surf and the jetty for Spanish mackerel, albacore, false albacore, bonito, whatever you want to call them. It's three different species. So I'm going to start off with how and where to fish. When really. With the Spanish mackerel and stuff like that, you're going to want to try first light in the morning. You're going to want clear water. Whenever there's dirty water, you're not going to see these fish around a lot. They like clear, clean water. They have very good vision. They can see very good. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of metal leaders and things like that hanging off your line on your rig. I'm going to show you right here. This is about as big as I'm going to go for my TA clip for these fish. And if they're finicky, I'm just going to tie a loop in this line and I'm taking the clip off so I can easily put my baits on. This right here is great for Spanish mackerel. This Ron Z right here, this thing fucking goes through the water like nothing else, baby. It darts through the water fast. But they do get an extra pack of these because they are going to tear them up. Spanish mackerel, they do have teeth, these fish, so they will, a couple fish on this, and it's done. They're not as bad as bluefish, but they're still going to tear it up. So right here, this is 20-pound mono I'm using for my leader. Okay, my knot, my TA clip, and this Ron Z, right? 20-pound leader. Now I'm going to show you guys right now how to tie your teaser, because you're going to want to run a teaser with these fish because you're going to double up. You're going to double up with Spanish and smaller blues or whatever that's mixed in there. It's a lot of fun when they're around and they're schooling with other fish and they're eating with other fish. It's always, for me, it's that outgoing tide. It's the clear water, it's the outgoing tide or the strong incoming. When the water's clear, First light through about noon. Those fish will be in and out sporadically, and then you'll be able to get a shot of them walking on the beach during the later part of the day. That's always been my experience, so you don't have to. I don't need any hate comments or anything like that. Oh no, you never catch. I'm talking off my own personal experience, right? Everybody, you find your own way with tips and tricks and things people give you along the way, and then you develop your own style and your own fishing program like I've done. So yeah, clear water. I can't stress that enough. When the water's dirty, these fish they're going to be harder to catch. You want to watch for terns and birds diving, right? You're going to know these fish are around is because they don't blitz like bluefish. When they come out of the water, the whole fish comes out of the water, and you're going to see the silhouette. You're going to see his tail like this. It looks like a fork coming out of the water. That's when you're going to know these fish are around. They come completely out of the water when they come out of the water. And usually there's a spray of rain bait or something else you can see. When you got like one or two of them cruising the beach, you'll see, it's harder to just catch one fish that's cruising around coming out of the water, the whole fish. But what you'll see is one or two birds following that. And then you're going to see the bird come back around a little bit. Not like he's flying straight down the beach, just getting to go somewhere. Like he's hovering, looking, he's going around. That'd be a good spot to start just blind casting out there and ripping it. You're going to want to burn this thing across the water. You can't reel fast enough for them not to grab your jig or whatever bait you're using. These fish are extremely fast. There's no way you can reel fast enough so that they can't get to the lure. Something like this, I'm slowing this down a little bit because I'm like snap jigging it. And every time it's going all weird, wicked ways. And sometimes this thing even does, come pop out of the water and back down this lure. This is why I like it. It's got a real sporadic darting movement. As you can see, the lead head here is like a wedge, right? So whenever this catches the water, it's turning and it's darting all different ways. The way this lure is designed is, if you can really learn and figure out how to fish this thing is great for. I put a black one on this at night in the fall down here for stripers. It's deadly on the beaches by the little rock piles and sandbars and stuff like that. It's absolutely deadly. Then they make a neck size up from this, and then even a neck size bigger. But this is the smallest size they make. I would recommend getting these for Spanish mackerel, that size. And here's some other lures that are great for these type of fish. You see, I got the teaser up there, the diamond jig with the tube. These hoagies, I think these are hoagies or Joe Bags. This is, I think, a Shimano Current Sniper or something like that, or I don't know exactly the name, but these are what you're going to want to use. Hopkins work good, and your Deadly Dicks. I just don't have one right here now to show you. This color, right? This like neon chartreuse green and the pink. Those are going to be your best bets all around. Those colors always produce. As you can see, this teaser right here, this is tied by a guy named Local Ties, at Local Ties on Instagram. That's where you could get his stuff. Literally, these things are durable, man. I think I got like 10 of these from him like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I still have them. I still use them. As you can see, this one is all chewed up because it works. This is pink and neon green chartreuse color. That, right, you get a couple of those teasers, and you get these in pink and that chartreuse color. You can't go wrong when it comes to the Spanish mackerel, the albies, bonito, and you're going to want that fast retrieve on there. Burning it in. First light in the morning, you want to be down by the water's edge, and you want to watch, start blind casting, looking for any disturbance. So now the rod that I use, It's a great setup. I've caught huge, huge stripers on this rod in the surf, and this thing is held up. Okay, so now this is a Daiwa Saltus 3000, right? This reel is so smooth too, right? Now this is an 8-foot, one piece, 8-foot Temple Fork tactical surf rod, right? I got this reel. I got it loaded with 20-pound braid, right? I probably could have went 15, but I went 20 and 20-pound mono leader, right? With this setup, with the 20-pound and the 20-pound and the 3000 Saltus, I can whip these 1.5 ounce jigs a mile with this rod. You want to be able to have something you could cast far, because they're not always going to be in close, these fish. They might be right at the end of the current that goes out. They might be right at the edges of that. If we're talking, let's say Manasquan, Belmar, or down south a little farther, right? You see a line on the outgoing almost. You could see a line in that water for where the current of that water coming out of the inlet hits that standing body of water. It makes like a rip line there that you could kind of see on the surface, or you see it white with bubbles, right? Those fish are going to be around that rip line. They're going to be hanging out on that rip line. So they're not always necessarily going to be close, right at the end of the inlet, right where you could get to them with a regular cast. You might have to get them at the very end of that cast, so you're going to want something that you could cast out there pretty far. So let me show you how I do my teaser leaders, right? Let's go. I'm going about, we could say, right, an arm's length, right? Taking that, I'm making my loop, right? Gonna pinch that. Bang. One. Right? That went in the wrong way. See, that's going to get tangled. So you want these to go in. You want them to wrap the right way. So 1, 2, I'm going through this loop. 3, 4, right? Now I'm going to grab there, and then I'm going to transfer the other hand to there, so that I know I'm holding at the end of those 4 wraps, because you're going to want to separate this by 4 each, right there, right? And you know what, it gained on me a little bit, so I'm just going to move my loop back a little bit, right? Just like this. I'm going to roll it back, because I want a certain amount of line in between the teaser and my main lure. So I rolled that back a little bit, right? So now let's go. Let's do another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Let me straighten this out so you could see the way that I'm doing it right now. Right, we straighten this out, right? That's what it's gonna look like, and you know I gotta do it. So what you gotta do is you gotta on that thing right there. Got a hot tour on that thing right there and lube it up, right? And then you're gonna pull it, and it should tighten, right? Right like that. Now you're gonna say, you got a lot of line hanging off of there. You do have a lot of line hanging off of there, right? Because now what I'm going to do is, all right, let's put this on. You can use this with a teaser too. No problem. You can use this with a teaser, right? We're going to put that on, right? We got our line here. Now this is the amount of line I got hanging off of the dropper, right? Now when we come down, it's pretty long. So what I'm gonna do is what I do is I tie this. I take another, right, and I'm gonna do I'm gonna tie it like, I forget what it's called, but I'm just gonna take these two lines, right, and get them even, right, and then I'm gonna tie this loop off. 1, 2, 3, with three, right, with 3 loops, right, bang, right like this, right. Now let me show you. Of course, I don't have my clippers up here, so let me get the teaser, right. Now I'm gonna put my teaser through here, right. Let's see, so you guys can see it. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna want to crimp this down because these holes are a little tight. Right. Bing, right? And now I'm gonna slip this through. I'm just looping the teaser through here so it stays on, right? Bang, like this, right? And then I'm cutting with my clippers, right? From the dropper loop knot to the knot I made here, I'm cutting one of those lines off. So it's a single line. Let me see what I got in here for cutting inside here. I can't believe I don't have a fucking blade. Oh, here we go. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna take one side, right, and I'm gonna, sorry, I gotta do it like this. I just didn't bring my clippers up here. Bang, and like that. So now let me show you what we're working with. Bang, right? This is a little, this will work perfect, this rig right here. So now when I store this rod, I'm gonna want to store it, try to put these in between 2 eyes, right? Just like this, boom. I mean, you don't have to store it like this, but what it's doing is it's stretching the leader, and it's making a leader line a little straighter, maybe from some of the kinks or tying the knots. I think that helps out a little bit with the presentation. That's just me. So 8-foot rod, 1 piece, 3 or 4 thousand size reel, 20-pound braid, main line, 20-pound fluoro or mono, leader, right? Dropper loop, teaser. You could do it the way I do it, or just put the teaser right on it and not loop it and tie it and cut it off all types of stupid ways like I did, right? To your TA clip, to your lure. You don't need the TA clip. You could tie a loop down here so you can change lures out quickly, and that's fine. Just tie a bigger loop, about a 6-inch loop, so you could slide the line through, flip the lure over, and pull it. That's quick change right there. When I run out of these sometimes, if I get bit off or I just don't have any more in my surf belt, that's what I do with my leader. Right? I tie a loop at the end of my leader, and that's how I fish for the night. I've never had a problem with that. To just a poor man's quick change, knot for your rod. It works. Never had a problem with it. People, oh, the fish see this. Yeah, sometimes they do when it's really clear water. But stripers, listen, they hit big chunks of bunker with huge circle hooks, wrapped up in a sinker with 10 feet of steel leader on it. So if you're going to tell me that they're not going to hit a lure with just your line looped at the end, you're out of control. They're going to hit it. It's not going to be a problem. So, like I said, the Ron Z's, the diamond jigs, the hoagies, the Joe Bags, resin jigs, epoxy jigs, those things are great. Pink, chartreuse yellow, throw a teaser on there, bright colors, far casts, watch the turns, what they're diving on. Look to see if you see those fish, they're going to come completely out of the water and they're going to be going in a different spot. So you're going to want to get out there and cast to them as fast as possible. Get that lure in there. I cast it out as far as I can. I give it a 5 count and then I rip it in, right? And then sometimes when I could see it, if my reeling is halfway in and that jig is at the top of the water, I might slap the bail open, let it sink another 5 seconds, and then burn it in, just like that. So these fish are going to start showing up. They're going to start showing up in numbers. And if you could figure out their patterns, you'll be able to catch them. Or if you just sit there all day, at one of these inlets or these jetties or by any of these rock piles where there's where it makes a nice difference in the surf, where you're going to get bait around that area, those fish are going to come in. So, thank you.